الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين بعد. Tonight we continue the Tafseer of Surah Al-Kahf from Ayah 15, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم هؤلاء قوم اتخذوا من دونه آلهة لولا يأتون عليهم بسلطان بين فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا هؤلاء قومنا. We started talking about the youth who left their community, who left their people and boycotted them for one main reason. Their community, their people were worshipping idols, worshipping other than Allah Azza wa Jal. And we talked about it in the previous sessions. So these young men, one after the other, during the time of the festival or celebration, they removed themselves from the party, from the festival, to the side, one at a time, one after the other. And then their numbers started to grow from one person to two to three and so forth. Well, and then at the end of the day, they communicated with each other and they all knew and they all understood why they were all on the side, while they all removed themselves from the community and from the festival, meaning worshipping other than Allah Azza wa Jal. So continuation, ayah 15, هؤلاء قومنا. These قومنا, our people. So they're referring to their people who were worshipping idols. اتخذوا من دونه آلهة. They have taken for worship other than Allah Azza wa Jal. اتخذوا من دونه أي من دون الله اتخذوا من دونه آلهة. They have taken for worship other than Allah Azza wa Jal. لولا يأتون عليهم بسلطان بين. So this is a conversation, they're talking to each other, like, why don't they bring for them clear authority? Sultan bayin, sultan, authority. In other words, if their claim for worshipping idols was the right thing to do, they have to prove it. They have to bring justification. They have to bring clear authority. They have to bring proof. لولا يأتون عليهم بسلطان بين. But they don't have proof. Why? Because it's just following, what their ancestors used to do and following the tradition of worshipping idols. لولا يأتون عليهم بسلطان بين فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا. Who does more wrong? أظلم صيغة مبالغة. فمن أظلم, who does more wrong than he or she or the people ممن افترى على الله كذبا, than he or she or people who make a false allegation against Allah. In other words, they make a lie against Allah by worshipping idols. من افترى على الله كذبا. Those who make a lie, they justify falsehood by worshipping other than Allah Azza wa Jalla. وَإِذِ اعْتَزَلْتُمُوهُمْ. So again at the end of the ayah 15, فَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ افْتَرَى عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا. In other words, it means that all those who will worship other than Allah Azza wa Jalla, they are worshipping falsehood. It is kadhib, it is iftira, it is fabrication, it's making a lie. Why? Because it's nothing but following their false, deities beside Allah Azza wa Jalla. And it is not true. وَإِذَا اعْتَزَلْتُمُوهُمْ وَمَا يَعْبُدُونَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Now, the young folks were talking to each other, communicating with each other. And they said to themselves, they said to each other, وَإِذَا اعْتَزَلْتُمُوهُمْ. And when you remove yourselves from your community, that i'tizal, when you move away from them, وَإِذَا اعْتَزَلْتُمُوهُمْ وَمَا يَعْبُدُونَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. And what they worship besides Allah Azza wa Jal. Meaning, when you move away and you leave your community and you leave the idols that they worship, you move away from them and all that they worship besides Allah Azza wa Jal, فَأَوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ. You should seek refuge in the cave. So this is before going to the cave. This is like the cave dwelling. You know what I'm saying? They're advising each other, you know what we should do? Let's plan for this. Let's move away. And where should we go? Okay, let's go up the mountain. Let's go to the cave. So they were talking to each other. فَأَوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ. You should seek refuge in the cave. يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ. Your Lord will make a way for you from His mercy. In other words, this statement, remove yourselves, move away, seek refuge in the cave. يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ. Your Lord will make a way for you from His mercy. It is a statement, but at the same token, it's like dua. It is a statement. Naam. If you do all of the above, يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ. Your Lord will make a way for you from His mercy. In other words, they're asking Allah Azza wa Jalla to facilitate for them. They're asking Allah Azza wa Jalla to shower His mercy upon them. They're asking Allah Azza wa Jalla to make it easy for them. They're asking Allah Azza wa Jalla to navigate for them. They're asking Allah Azza wa Jalla to guide them. يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ. The essence of mention Rabbukum here, your Lord, is that they knew full well, as we mentioned in previous sessions, that what their people were doing and the worship that they indulged in is not the right way to worship. It is not Allah. They don't believe in worshiping idols. So now that they plan to move forward and to move on, now they invoke in Allah Azza wa Jalla. They're making dua, asking Allah Azza wa Jalla to make it easy for them. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ. Your Lord will make a way for you from His mercy. وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُمْ. The word yuhayyi is from hayya'a, yuhayyi, tahyi'a. In other words, He will facilitate for you. He will pave for you. وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَمْرِكُمْ مِرْفَقًا. Amrikum, your affairs. Mirfaqas, from the word rifqa. Allah will make your affairs easy for you. So it's very important. So now, before they run out, before they move out, before they march forward to the cave, they're talking to each other. They're communicating with each other. Planning ahead of time what they should do, where they should go, who is going to be for them, who is going to get their back, who is going to, give them shelter, who is going to cover them, who is going to help them. So, وَإِذَا اعْتَزَلْتُمُوهُمْ وَمَا يَعْبُدُونَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ فَأْوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَمْرِكُمْ مِرْفَقًا. And it's very important to understand here, it's not just running away to the cave, because anything can happen. That's why we have to underscore the importance of putting your trust in Allah Azza wa Jal. So before they head out, They already identify their strength. Their strength is putting their trust in Allah Azza wa Jal. In their Rabb, their Lord will get their back, will cover them, will shelter them, will protect them, will be there for them, will have mercy upon them. يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ. And yes, if Allah Azza wa Jalla makes a way for you and descends His rahmah upon you, then you are blessed and you are covered. And no one can inflict no harm upon you. Why? Because the Rabb Himself, the Lord Himself, gets your back. يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَمْرِكُمْ مِرْفَقًا. And He, meaning Allah Azza wa Jal, will make your affairs easy for you. So in other words, no matter what it is, you'll be covered. No matter what it is, Allah Azza wa Jalla will not let you down. No matter what it is, Allah Azza wa Jalla will not expose you. وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُم مِّنْ أَمْرِكُمْ مِرْفَقًا. وَتَرَى الشَّمْسَ إِذَا طَلَعَتْ تَزَاوَرُ عَنْ كَهْفِهِمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَإِذَا غَرَبَتْ تَقْرِضُهُمْ ذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ وَهُمْ فِي فَجْوَةٍ مِّنْهِ. So they were now in the cave. See how the Quran makes long story short without elaborating. Now they are walking. So Allah is giving us the main points. Now they're in the cave already. They sought shelter and refuge in the cave. وَتَرَى الشَّمْسَ. You see the sun. When sun طَلَعَتْ, when sun rises, when sun rose, تَزَاوَرُ عَنْ كَهْفِهِمْ, declining upon their cave, ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ, to the right hand side. And when the sun sets, it also, glance them to the left. Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhuma, Bahr al-Ummah wa Turjuman al-Quran, explains this scenario. He said that when sun rose, the sun doesn't affect them directly in terms of their own physical bodies. But the rays of the sun will come to the right side of their cave. They're in the middle. And before sun sets, the sun will also appear on them to the left. So in the morning to the right, in the evening before the sunset to the left. And they are right in the middle, in the midst of the cave. وَتَرَى الشَّمْسَ إِذَا طَلَعَتْ تَزَاوَرُ عَنْ كَهْفِهِمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَإِذَا غَرَبَتْ تَقْرِضُهُمْ ذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ وَهُمْ فِي فَجْوَةٍ مِّنْهِ ذَلِكَ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ. This is some of the signs of Allah. Well, let's take a minute here. We're not talking about science in detail, but it tells you the importance of having the sunshine and the rays of the sun. It helps in keeping you, human beings, alive and healthy. That's why you see some people, they travel to some parts of the world because they want to have the sunshine and they want to have the heat of the sun. Not only humans, but also the plants, for their own growth and survival, and to get the crops and vegetation. They also depend on the sun and so forth. So we're talking about the daylight, having the oxygen and all that. So Allah Azza wa Jalla directed them for a reason to that place, to that spot. It's not just coincidence. In Sharia, we don't have no coincidence. No, it is qadar of Allah Azza wa Jalla. It is qadar of Allah Azza wa Jalla. It is, this happened by coincidence, by chance. No, it's by qadar of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So Allah chose the spot for them that is conducive for them to dwell in, to stay in. وَتَرَى الشَّمْسَ إِذَا طَلَعَتْ تَزَاوَرُ عَنْ كَهْفِهِمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَإِذَا غَرَبَتْ تَقْرِضُهُمْ ذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ وَهُمْ فِي فَجْوَةٍ مِّنْهِ ذَلِكَ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ. So when you say ذَلِكَ, this is of the signs of Allah, meaning the fact that these young folks moved away and abandon their community and the worshipping of the idol is one of the signs of Allah. To put in their breast, to put in their hearts the love for Allah Azza wa Jal, to put in their mind and their breast and in their intellect, their understanding that what their community were doing is wrong and it's not the right path of worship. It's from the signs of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now they all moved out, as I mentioned, and then one after the other, they met each other. I mentioned the previous halaqah that, so the first person who moved away and sat underneath the tree, or a tree, and then after a little while, someone else moved away from the festival and joined him, and then after a little while, another one came. So just think about it. So they started to be suspicious of one another. It's like, so what's up, man? What's going on? So much so that at the end of the day, one of them was bold enough to say, well, I guess we all happen to be here for a reason. So should we talk about it? Should we communicate? Should we clarify to each other why we're here? Because we should be here, meaning away from our people, for a reason. So one of them said, well, I'll go first. I really don't agree with our people. I don't agree and I don't, appreciate it that our people are, spending this time and worshiping idols. I think we should worship Allah alone. Oh, so he made it easy for others to say, oh, me too, me too. So they all were in this together. There is authentic hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-arwahu junudun mujannada ma ta'arafa minha talaf wa ma tanakara minha ikhtalaf. This hadith is collected by Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah and narrated by Aisha radiallahu anha. Al-arwah junudun mujannada, meaning the souls of human beings. The souls are like recruited army. Like when the military or the army goes to the foot camp, they go to training. So al-arwah, the souls, are like recruited army. Ma ta'arafa minha talaf. The souls that recognize one another will stick together and hang out together and recognize one another and work together as a team. وَمَا تَنَاكَرَ مِنْهَا اخْتَلَفَ. And those who do not, meaning the souls that do not recognize one another, will part company. They will differ. They will go away. They will disperse. So I'm saying this to explain and to emphasize the importance of loving Allah Azza wa Jal, loving the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, loving the deen. I don't know about you, but you might have been in a place once, maybe in a masjid, maybe in a convention, maybe any Islamic program, workshop, or what have you, and then you run into someone and you just click. It's as if you have known him for years. When you see people, even you don't know them, from all different backgrounds, and then you come to the masjid to pray together, in the fard prayer or tarawih prayer, during the occasion of ta'ah, obedience, and you know that what brings you all together is to be dutiful and obedient to Allah and do just cause. You feel like, wow, we are all in the same, or in the same boat, the same boat. So you feel like you have your commonality here is ta'atullah, obedience of Allah Azza wa Jal. So when you see someone who is following the sunnah, you love him deep down in the core of your heart, even though you never met him before. But you see the alamat, the signs, the trait of this person, his look, his humility, and then you just love him. And likewise, sisters might have been in a place of da'wah and they meet other sisters, and And they will love one another. MashaAllah, sister, I just love you for the sake of Allah. Brothers say the same thing to brothers. That's the meaning of the hadith. So the souls of believers cling together and attach together and recognize each other. Why? Because this is what you have in common. The love for the deen, the love for Allah, following the haqq. Al-arwahu junudun mujannada, ma ta'arafa minha talaf, wa ma tanakara minha ikhtalaf. So these young folks, when they move away, they just get like connected, as if they already knew each other since time immemorial. وترى الشمس إذا طلعت تزاور عن كهفهم ذات اليمين وإذا غربت تقرضهم ذات الشمال وهم في فجوة منه. Fajwa is a spot where they were in the midst of the cave. So they were not all the way to the right, and they weren't all the way to the left. They were in a spot called Fajwa. You may call it like a courtyard in the midst, middle part. وهم في فجوة منه. ذلك من آيات الله. So Allah Azza wa Jalla did all of the above. Not only that, and directed them to the cave, and then positioned them in the right spot. The right spot, not to the right, not to the left. Why? So that they will not have direct rays of the sun on them during sunrise or during sunset. So they were in a perfect position. وَهُمْ فِي فَجْوَةٍ مِّنْهِ ذَلِكَ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ. So Allah Azza wa Jalla decreed all that. All that are some of the signs of Allah, miracles of Allah, doing of Allah, making of Allah, will of Allah. ذَلِكَ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ مَنْ يَهْدِ اللَّهُ فَهُوَ الْمُهْتَدِ. Whomsoever Allah Azza wa Jalla gives hidayah, whomsoever Allah guides, فَهُوَ الْمُهْتَدِ. He or she is the guided one. Meaning he or she is blessed. He or she will be on the path, the right path of the hidayah, guidance. وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ. And whomsoever Allah Azza wa Jalla misguides. In other words, whomsoever Allah Azza wa Jalla allows to go astray. وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ فَلَنْ تَجْدَ لَهُ وَلِيًّا مُرْشِدًا. Whomsoever Allah Azza wa Jalla misguide, whomsoever Allah Azza wa Jalla allows to go astray, you will never find for him wali. No any protector for him. No helper for him. No sustainer for him. No one will provide for him the hidayah, the guidance, other than Allah Azza wa Jalla. وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ فَلَنْ تَجْدَ لَهُ وَلِيًّا مُرْشِدًا. Murshida, a guide. He will not have any wali, any helper, and he will not have any guide. Let's stop here for a second. So it means that the hidayah is the bottom line. The hidayah is in the hands of Allah Azza wa Jalla, the guidance. يَهْدِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيُضِلُّ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah Azza wa Jalla guides whom He wills and misguides whom He wills. I know you might say, for real? So deliberately, Allah Azza wa Jalla gives some people hidayah, keep them on the right path, and then some people, maybe Allah Azza wa Jalla doesn't love them, so Allah Azza wa Jalla will deliberately misguide them. No, that's not the meaning. That's not the meaning. The meaning of this ayah in the context that nothing will happen without the leave of Allah. Nothing will happen without the permission of Allah. Nothing will happen without the knowledge of Allah. So ultimately, Allah Azza wa Jalla gives hidayah. Now, if you accept the hidayah, you accept the guidance, you take it, you want it, you're serious about it, then Allah Azza wa Jalla will strengthen your foothold. Allah Azza wa Jalla will make it easy for you. Allah Azza wa Jalla will increase you hidayah. وَالَّذِينَ اهْتَدَوْا زَادَهُمْ هُدًى وَآتَاهُمْ تَقْوَاهُمْ. Those who follow the path of hidayah, they accept the guidance and follow the right path. زَادَهُمْ هُدًى. Allah will increase them in guidance. Allah will make it easy for them, so much so that they will have the halawatul iman, the sweetness of the iman. They love to be on the path of guidance. But those who will reject the da'wah, knowing full well this is the right path, this is the guidance, and they choose to go other way, Allah Azza wa Jalla will leave them. In other words, as human beings, we have autonomy. In other words, we have freedom of choice. Allah said, "Imma shakiran wa imma kafura." Allah Azza wa Jalla has given us the ability and the choice. Imma shakiran. Either we follow the right path. Shakir means be thankful and appreciate Allah Azza wa Jalla and follow the right deen. Or someone will choose to go the wrong path, to be a disbelieving person. Now, there are some people, we said this in different sessions, some people might not have the knowledge, the right knowledge, the hidayah. They might not have received the guidance. So think about it, hypothetically. Someone is in the jungle somewhere, or in the desert somewhere, or some part of the world, and he has no knowledge of Islam. He has no clue of Islam. Is Allah Azza wa Jalla going to barbecue him on the day of Qiyamah? Punish him in the hellfire? Whilst the person never received any hidayah, no da'wah has come to him. Will Allah punish him or her? No. Allah said in the Quran, وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. Allah Azza wa Jalla will not punish any human being until he or she receive the message, either directly from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or from any other source. So there is hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Arba'atun yahtajuna yawm al-qiyamah." There are 4 categories of people. They will present their argument on the day of Qiyamah. Arba'a, 4. They will present their argument on the day of Qiyamah. In our terminology, we say like protest. It's like, we have not done anything wrong. Why should we be punished? So arba'a, 4. So it might be 4 million, 4 trillion, any number that is 4. Arba'a. Because the Prophet just says this arba'a, you can quantify it in many, and double it as much as possible. So long story short, one group or one category, rajulun asam. Asam, someone who was, as Allah says, summun bukmun umyun. Asam, someone who was deaf. So let's assume during his time or her time, he or she did not know anything about da'wah or hidayah. It is what it is. Maybe there was no sign language, or there was sign language, but no one reached out to him, and no one talked to him. John Fontaine last night, he was saying that he had Muslim friends, but they never talked to him about Islam. They never gave him da'wah. So anyway, so it tells you that don't be fooled. Don't think that now because we are in the age of technology, so definitely everyone should know about Islam. So there is a probability that some people might have no knowledge. Or some people have some knowledge of Islam, but the knowledge they have is distorted. It's not pure. It's not clean. It's not the truth. It's not authentic. It's not purified. It's not genuine. So if someone's knowledge about Islam is nothing but radicalism and extremism and bombing the people and killing innocent people, he or she might think twice. Especially what is going on and how some people portray Islam in the media. We're talking about Islamophobia and so forth. So anyway, I'm saying that if some people didn't have good knowledge, he will be given opportunity on the day of Qiyamah, meaning he or she will be tested. So that's one group, rajulun asam. So rajul does not necessarily mean that one person. That's one group. Second group, rajulun mata fi fatra. Rajul, a man or group of people who died during time of interval. And time of interval means that a prophet has came and already gone. And there is another prophet who will come later. But between the past and the future prophet might be an interval, years, so much so that there is deterioration of the deen and people don't know what is right. So that is fatra, time of interval. Some people lived during that time يعني على الماشي and died upon that. They didn't have any clear understanding of their religion. This is the second group. Third group, someone will say جاء الإسلام والصبيان يرموني بالبعر, that Islam came and the children are throwing pebble or excreting of animal to me. In other words, I was very old. You know, kids, they love to go to grandpa and grandma, just play with them and so forth, you know, because they get away with everything. You know what I'm saying? So these are a group of people who were very, very old, so much so that they don't even recognize their own children, let alone their grandchildren. At this age, when a prophet comes and talking to them, huh? What? They don't know, seriously. And they can just eat, and then after a minute, they will say, oh, they left me hungry all day. They don't take good care of me. Nobody loves me here. It's the age. It's like one foot is in the grave already, but they're still alive. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so these are some people who will protest and say that they didn't have knowledge of Islam. The fourth category, the fourth group, people who were mentally retarded. They were sick in the head. So they didn't know anything. Pen is raising on three categories of people. One of them, people who are retarded. So I'm saying all this to mention, talking about من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. These four categories I mentioned, فيأخذ الله عز وجل مواثيقهم. Allah Azza wa Jalla will test them on the day of Qiyamah and take their covenant and take their word. They will say, if you had sent us a messenger, we would have obeyed him. We would have been good people and so forth. So Allah Azza wa Jalla will say, show me. So Allah will test them. How? Allah Azza wa Jalla will send to them a clear command. Go you, all of you, to the fire. What? Go to the fire. So in the beginning they will march forth, all of them going to the fire, meaning they should throw themselves in the fire. So in the process, some of them will say, but that's not fair. That ain't right. We didn't do anything wrong. Why should Allah punish us? So they will literally refuse to comply. They will back off. And other folks will continue, right? Because Allah Azza wa Jalla commanded them. They will throw themselves in the fire. But guess what? It looks fire, yes, and it is a fire, but Allah Azza wa Jalla has removed the quality of burning. Remember, Allah Azza wa Jalla commanded the fire of Ibrahim, قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. So those who complied, Allah Azza wa Jalla will grant them Jannah because they passed the test. And those who refuse or decline, Allah Azza wa Jalla will say, well, I have ordered you, I have commanded you, but you decline and you refuse. So Allah Azza wa Jalla has tested them on the spot, and they will be drawn on their faces to the hellfire. May Allah Azza wa Jalla save us. So here, مَنْ يَهْدِ اللَّهُ فَهُوَ الْمُهْتَدِ. Whomsoever Allah Azza wa Jalla guides, فَهُوَ الْمُهْتَدِ. He is the guided one. وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ. Whomsoever Allah Azza wa Jalla allows to go astray, فَلَنْ تَجِدَ لَهُ وَلِيًّا مُرْشِدًا. You will not find for him, you will not have for him or for her waliyan, a helper or a protector. No one, murshida, no one, no any guide will show them the right path. May Allah keep us, all of us, on the right path. وَتَحْسَبُهُمْ أَيْقَاظًا وَهُمْ رُقُودٌ. This is also a continuation of the story of the people of the cave. وَتَحْسَبُهُمْ أَيْقَاظًا. Now, this is the scenery. This is the scenario. You see this picture. They are in the cave. وَتَحْسَبُهُمْ أَيْقَاظًا. You perceive them. أَيْقَاظًا. Awake. When you look at them, when you glance at them, when you see them, you assume, you think that they are ayqadan, they are awake. وَهُمْ رُقُودٌ. But in reality, they are asleep. But when you look at them, you think that they are wide awake. وَهُمْ رُقُودٌ. But in reality, they are asleep. Here's the reason. Because Allah Azza wa Jalla decreed, even though they were asleep, but their eyelids were open. So just look at when you see someone sitting like this and gazing at you. It's like, whoa. Why does he look at me like that? Why is he gazing at me like that? So that's how they look. They all open their eyes, the lids open, but they were asleep. That's the qadr of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And also there is also a scientific benefit here to learn, that keeping the eye open by the qadr of Allah Azza wa Jal keeps their sight healthy, keeps the eyesight healthy, in good state of health, so that they will not have any infection by closing their eyes for so many years. وَالْعِلْمُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. جزاك الله خير شيخ. وَتَحْسَبُهُمْ أَيْقَاظًا وَهُمْ رُقُودٌ. You perceive them ayqadan, they are awake. وَهُمْ رُقُودٌ. While they are asleep. All their gaze is open, the eyelid is open. وَنُقَلِّبُهُمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, and we turn them ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ, to the right and to the left. So, subhanallah, if someone were to sit in one spot for a long period of time, for months, for years, he might get rotten. He might get rotten. Why? Because he is sitting in one spot, in one place. He's going to get sore. He's going to get decay. But Allah Azza wa Jalla, out of His infinite mercy upon them, Allah Azza wa Jalla caused them to be turning. It's like someone is sleeping and then in the middle of the night, he turns a little bit to the right and turns around to the left and so forth. وَنُقَلِّبُهُمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ وَكَلْبُهُمْ بَاسِطٌ ذِرَاعَيْهِ بِالْوَصِيدِ. And their dog وَبَاسِطٌ ذِرَاعَيْهِ, stretching its four legs, bilwasid, at the entrance. So the dog was on the side of the cave, at the entrance, stretching, but also asleep. As the men in the cave were also asleep, but their lids were open. وَتَحْسَبُهُمْ أَيْقَاظًا وَهُمْ رُقُودٌ وَنُقَلِّبُهُمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ وَكَلْبُهُمْ بَاسِطٌ ذِرَاعَيْهِ بالوصيد لو اطلعت عليهم لوليت منهم فرارا. And Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling us and telling our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Ummah that if you were to take a look at them, لو اطلعت عليهم, if you were to take a shot at them, meaning to look at them, to see the view in which they were, لَوَلَّيْتَ مِنْهُمْ فِرَارًا, you will turn away in flight. Meaning you're going to run away. Because, why? It's not easy to see their image. How they were all, sleeping, but they look like they are awake. Their condition, their look, everything. لَوَلَّيْتَ مِنْهُمْ فِرَارًا, you will turn away in flight. Meaning you will run away. وَلَمُلِئِتَ مِنْهُمْ رُعْبًا, and you will be filled with fear. You're going to get scared of them. وَكَذَلِكَ بَعَثْنَاهُمْ. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, and likewise, as we have done all of the above, out of mercy of Allah Azza wa Jalla and miracle of Allah Azza wa Jalla, this is mu'jiza, this miracle from Allah Azza wa Jalla. وَكَذَلِكَ, and likewise, بَعَثْنَاهُمْ, we resurrected them. So when you sleep, you are dead. And when you wake up, you are resurrected. Meaning Allah Azza wa Jalla cause you to die when you sleep. Al-mawtat al-sughra. And then when Allah Azza wa Jalla decrees and you wake up, then it means Allah Azza wa Jalla resurrected you. Until the sleep which you or I or she or they will not wake up, that is death. وَكَذَلِكَ بَعَثْنَاهُمْ. And likewise, we woke them up after this long period of sleep. We resurrected them. لِيَتَسَاءَلُوا بَيْنَهُمْ. That they might talk between them, that they might communicate with one another. لِيَتَسَاءَلُوا بَيْنَهُمْ. That they might question one another. لِيَتَسَاءَلُوا بَيْنَهُمْ. قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِّنْهُمْ. A spokesman among them said, meaning one of them said. قَالَ قَائِلٌ. It's not like, a spokesperson like, speaker of the cave or something like that. You know what I mean? So he's the speaker of the cave. No, it means one of them. قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِّنْهُمْ كَمْ لَبِثْتُمْ. So now after they woke up, one of them said, كَمْ لَبِثْتُمْ. How long have you been in here? In other words, how long have we spent here? How long have we been sleeping? كَمْ لَبِثْتُمْ. قَالُوا. They said, meaning the other folks responded, لَبِثْنَا يَوْمًا أَوْ بَعْضَ يَوْمٍ. We spent يَوْمًا, a day. أَوْ بَعْضَ يَوْمٍ, or part of the day. So again, so they said, it's like one day or even less than a day. That's the meaning. يَوْمًا, a day. أَوْ بَعْضَ يَوْمٍ, some of day, meaning less than a day. لَبِثْنَا يَوْمًا أَوْ بَعْضَ يَوْمٍ. قَالُوا. They say, رَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا لَبِثْتُمْ. You know what? Don't worry about it. رَبُّكُمْ, your Lord, meaning Allah Azza wa Jal, أَعْلَمُ بِمَا لَبِثْتُمْ. Your Lord knows best how long you've been in here. So don't worry about it. Don't crack your brain. You want to know what it is. Allah knows best. رَبُّكُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا لَبِثْتُمْ. Now, here's what at stake. فَبَعَثُوا أَحَدَكُمْ بِوَرِقِكُمْ هَذِهِ إِلَى الْمَدِينَةِ. So send one of you with this your silver coin. Send one of you بِوَرِقِكُمْ, with this your silver coin, إِلَى الْمَدِينَةِ, to the town. Why? Why should you go to the town with silver coin? فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَيُّهَا أَزْكَى طَعَامًا. You should go to the town, you should go to the city. Medina, you can say a city. Medina, you can say a town. فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَيُّهَا أَزْكَى طَعَامًا. He should look and purchase the pure food, meaning good. You can say halal food, right? أَزْكَى طَعَامًا, best of halal food, good food for us. فَلْيَأْتِكُمْ بِرِزْقٍ مِّنْهِ. He should bring to us rizq, meaning provision. That is the food. So that food is a rizq, provision. وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ. Now they advising the person who is going to go before he even steps out. وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ. He should take it easy. Okay? You paying attention, right? وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ. He should take it easy. وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ. He should be mindful. وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ. He should be careful. Look at any meaning, synonym that goes with this. وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ. He should be careful. He should watch out. He should be on guard. وَلْيَتَلَطَّفْ. وَلَا يُشْعِرَنَّ بِكُمْ أَحَدًا. He should not draw any attention to you. He should not let people know about you. You know what it is. Because they sought refuge in the cave, running away from the fitna, running away from the king and their people. So now they don't want to be exposed. So that's why they're saying, hey, the person going to get food, he should watch out, man. He should not draw attention to us. He should not expose our affair. وَلَا يُشْعِرَنَّ بِكُمْ أَحَدًا. He should not let anyone know about us. إِنَّهُمْ إِن يَظْهَرُوا عَلَيْكُمْ يَرْجُمُوكُمْ. Indeed, verily, certainly, إِن يَظْهَرُوا عَلَيْكُمْ. If they get hold of you, if they know your whereabouts, إِن يَظْهَرُوا عَلَيْكُمْ يَرْجُمُوكُمْ أَوْ يُعِيدُوكُمْ فِي مِلَّتِهِمْ. Two things is going to happen. Either they torture you to death. يَرْجُمُوكُمْ. They torture you to death. يَرْجُمُوكُمْ. They stone. That's rajm. They stone you to death. Meaning they kill you. يَرْجُمُوكُمْ. أَوْ يُعِيدُوكُمْ فِي مِلَّتِهِمْ. Or they turn you back to their religion. So it's one of the two. وَلَن تُفْلِحُوا إِذًا أَبَدًا. And then you will never be successful. It tells you some of the strategy of the kuffar against the Muslims, against the people of the Sunnah. So you remember when, some people will have the upper hand and take some during warfare as captives. You heard about this waterboarding and all this torture, forms of torture. Why? Because they want to get some information. They want to scare the people. It's a scare tactics. It's like, well, if you don't want to be punished, you don't want to be killed, you don't want to go through, extreme punishment, then you should retreat. You should surrender. You should tell us the truth. In this case here, you should come back to worshiping idols. إنهم إن يظهروا عليكم يرجموكم أو يعيدوكم في ملتهم ولن تفلحوا إذا أبدا وكذلك أعثرنا عليهم ليعلموا أن وعد الله حق. Now, so before we continue, ayah 21. So this, one of them was advised, take it easy, man. Don't put all of us in the harm's way. Don't draw attention. So just keep it cool. So he, took some of the silver coin, step out in the explanation of the tafsir, walking out and looked around. It's like, wow, everything has changed. The landmarks of the town has changed. And he started to doubt himself. It's like, so what's happened? What just changed suddenly? So anyway, so much so that he has to calm himself a little bit. Because he was thinking too much. Everything has changed. So long story short, he stepped out looking for food. So he saw a place where they're selling some food. So he went there and he was negotiating with the seller that he want to buy some food. And he gave his silver coin. So the seller looked at the coin and look at this guy. Just look at this picture, man. He look at the coin and look at this guy. Look at the coin, look at this guy. It's like, you okay? Sounds familiar, right? You okay? What do you want? He said, I want to buy some food. I gave him money. So the first impression was that this person who came out from the cave, the seller of the food assumes that either he was like retarded, like Shoya Majnoon, he's not right, or he's just trying to cheat, And also he was also thinking that, you know what, maybe this guy just found an antique, like a treasure. Because it's a coin, it's money, but it's not for the time, it's not for the century, it's not for the, it's not that it's the money in circulation. So what he did, meaning the seller, he passed the money to the next seller. It's like, can you check this money for me? So he also did the same, looks like, oh wow. He also passed it on. So they passed it on in the market and they were really astonished. What's going on? And this guy, he stood put. He stood his ground. He wanted to get food. He's buying the food. Long story short, as it was explained in the Tafseer, they took him to the governor. Because they started to talk to him, and it's like, wow, this guy is talking about, he just went out in the refuge, and him and his folks or friends, and then they just sent him to come and buy some food. And so they can't relate to what he was talking about. So again, long story short, I'm making it so briefly, they took him to the governor for investigation. So the governor was a Muslim. And the people of the town were Muslims, not like the people back in the days. So the governor had a conversation with him, had a dialogue with him, and found out all what happened. So again, this guy didn't even know that, they were sleeping for a long period of time. According to the story, Wallahu A'lam, so the king and the people went with him. Okay, let's go see your other friends to the cave. So that when they went, he told them, well, you guys have to give me a minute. Let me go in first. Let me talk to my people. At least, give them heads up before you come in, so that you just don't come in right away, because they might be very nervous about you coming. So they were out, and they allowed him to go talk to the people and so forth. According to the story, again, وَالْعِلْمُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. So, he went in, he talked to the people, meaning his friends, and just to give them a heads up, now the king or the governor and the people came in, talked to them, welcomed them, and they had a very good conversation. And the governor and the people, moved out. So basically, these guys went back in the cave by themselves. Again, it's like just to continue taking their nap, continue sleeping again. Now, Allah Azza wa Jalla caused them to die. So they went back to sleep. Now, Allah Azza wa Jalla caused them to die. They slept now, they didn't get back. They didn't, get back awake again as Allah Azza wa Jalla woke them. Also in the Quran, Mufassirun, the scholars of Tafseer mentioned that the people of the town, some of them had some issue about resurrection, about the soul and the body. So much so that some believe that when someone dies, the body decays. The body will just, go away and disappear, and then, but there is no any convincing evidence that the soul will be reunited and the body, that person will be resurrected. So some of people have some doubt about it, and some have strong belief that a person will be resurrected and the body will come back as it was before. In this ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَكَذَلِكَ, and thus, أَعْثَرْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ, we make their story known to the outside world. Meaning we make people know about them. When this one person went out to buy the food and so forth, we make their story known. أَعْثَرْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ لِيَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقًّا, in order to prove to the people who have doubt about death and resurrection that the promise of Allah Azza wa Jalla is truth. That there is death, and that yes, there is also resurrection, and that the soul and also the body will also be resurrected. لِيَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقًّا وَأَنَّ السَّاعَةَ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهَا, in order to prove to the people that as-sa'a, that the hour, meaning the day of Qiyamah, la rayba fiha, there is no doubt in it. إِذْ يَتَنَازَعُونَ بَيْنَهُمْ أَمْرَهُمْ, when the people were in dispute, they disputed regarding them. إِذْ يَتَنَازَعُونَ بَيْنَهُمْ أَمْرَهُمْ, some of them said this about them, some, so they have differences of opinion, how long they've been in the cave, how many years, and so forth. And what to do with them after the discovery of these people and they are passing away. إِذْ يَتَنَازَعُونَ بَيْنَهُمْ أَمْرَهُمْ فَقَالُوا, now, some people said, فَقَالُوا ابْنُوا عَلَيْهِمْ بُنْيَانًا, some people said, we should seal the entrance of the cave and cave it up, just close it up, and build a dwelling upon them. Bnu alayhim bunyana. Let's build a dwelling on top of them, like a memorial, something to remember them. Bnu alayhim bunyana. Rabbuhum a'lamu bihim. Their Lord knows best about them. قال الذين غلبوا على أمرهم. Some other folks disagreed. So you have differences of opinion in regarding what to do with them and what to do, as a memorial for those who deceased. But the majority of them, قال الذين غلبوا على أمرهم, the majority of them who won the day, they said, لنتخذن عليهم مسجدا. We should build a place of worship. We should construct a place of worship on them. لنتخذن عليهم مسجدا. Let's take a second here. In the hadith, meaning authentic hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لعن الله اليهود والنصارى اتخذوا قبور أنبيائهم مساجد. That Allah Azza wa Jalla has cursed the Yahud and the Nasara, the Jews and the Christians. Why? They have taken the places of the qubur, the graves of their prophets, and turned them into places of worship. So it is haram to take a place of burial, meaning a grave site, and turn it into masjid or masajid, places of worship. But majority won to make it a place of worship. سيقولون ثلاثة رابعهم كلبهم. Now, how many people were in the cave, أصحاب الكهف? Now you have differences of opinion. سيقولون, they will say, ثلاثة, there were 3 people. رابعهم كلبهم, the 4th of them was their dog. ويقولون, and they also say, خمسة, there were 6 people in the cave. سادسهم كلبهم رجما بالغيب. سادسهم كلبهم, the 6th is their dog. So the first opinion was ثلاثة, there were 3, the 4th is their dog. Some say no, خمسة, there were 5. سادسهم كلبهم, the 6th is their dog. رجما بالغيب, they were just assuming with unseen. In other words, they don't have the ilm of the ghaib. ويقولون, and they also say, ويقولون, they say, سبعة, they were 7 folks. وثامنهم كلبهم, the 8th is their dog. قل ربي أعلم بعدتهم. قل, say. This is a command to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. قل, say. ربي أعلم بعدتهم. My Lord knows best about their number. My Lord knows best about their actual number. ما يعلمهم إلا قليل. No one knows about their real number except very few people. Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Only few people know. Why? Because Allah Azza wa Jalla has revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So it's only few people who know. فَلَا تُمَارِ فِيهِمْ إِلَّا مِرَاءً ظَاهِرًا. So do not dispute with them. I mean, don't argue with them. لَا تُمَارِ فِيهِمْ. Do not dispute with them, meaning with the people of Quraysh, going back and forth and talking about this issue. إِلَّا مِرَاءً ظَاهِرًا. Except dispute that which is clear and evident. Other than that, let it go. وَلَا تَسْتَفْتِ فِيهِمْ مِنْهُمْ أَحَدًا. Do not ask for any fatwa. Do not ask for any, understanding, any clarity from any person. Period. So it's closed. Don't talk to anyone. Don't dispute it. Don't ask for any more information about it. وَلَا تَسْتَفْتِ فِيهِمْ مِنْهُمْ أَحَدًا. Don't ask for any information regarding the people of the cave. وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ لِلشَّيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. Here, ayah 23. Allah Azza wa Jalla rebukes the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah blames our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this ayah, saying, never say, وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ لِشَيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا. Never say in any of your endeavors, in any of your engagement, in any of your affairs, never say that I'm going to do this, such and such, غدا, tomorrow. Don't say like that. I'm going to do this tomorrow. إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهِ. Except that you have exceptional clause. You say, if Allah wills. And the reason this ayah was revealed, remember, when Quraysh sent someone to the Jews in Medina, long story short, to get some information on how to interact with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to verify the authenticity of his prophethood, long story short. So they came, Yahud told them, ask him 3 questions, we already talked about it. So when they came and they told the leaders of the Quraysh, they went to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said to him, we want you to tell us about, the young men back in the days who left their town. What is their story? Tell us about, the person who traveled the world, the east and the west. Tell us about Ar-Ruh. 3 questions. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was confident in his guts. He said to them, come tomorrow. Bachar. Al-Kuwaitiyya, Bachar. Come tomorrow. And we talk about it. For 15 days, there was no revelation about this. 15 days. No any information about this. Jibreel alayhi salam did not come down. 15 days. Well, it became the talk of the town. Well, Muhammad said, Bachar, tomorrow I'm going to tell you. And then day 1, day 2, day 3. 15 days in a row. And now people were talking in the town that, well, if he were a true prophet, he would have told us the answers. He said, come tomorrow. Well, it's 15 days. That tomorrow never came. So the Prophet ﷺ was feeling the bitterness, the sadness, the anguish, not because of him. It's not that he wants to be vindicated, but he wants these people to be Muslims. So he wants to give them the good answers. That here Allah Azza wa Jalla said, don't say come tomorrow, except you say insha'Allah. Because when he made the statement, he forgot. He didn't say insha'Allah. وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ لِشَيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ وَاذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ إِذَا نَسِيتَ. And mention your Lord when you forget. وَاذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ إِذَا نَسِيتَ. Let me mention another story here, and then we stop here to be continued. Al-Imam al-Bukhari and Al-Imam Muslim, both of them collected authentic hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. He said that Sulaiman, the son of Dawood, one day he said, لَأَطُوفَنَّ اللَّيْلَةَ عَلَى 70 امْرَأَةٍ لَأَطُوفَنَّ اللَّيْلَةَ على 70 امرأة وفي رواية على 90 امرأة وفي رواية على 100 تلد كلهن غلاما يجاهد في سبيل الله. And this is authentic in Bukhari and Muslim, narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. Sulaiman said one night that by Allah, I swear by Allah, tonight I'm gonna spend quality time with 70 wives, meaning his wives. I'm going to roam, I'm going to go around and spend quality time with 70 wives. And by Allah, each one will be pregnant. Each one will give birth to a young man, meaning a male, who will strive in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. Another narration, I'm going to go and spend quality time with 90 امرأة, 90. So one narration said 70. Another narration 90, another narration 100. And all of them will give birth to sons who will strive in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal. Well, long story short, none of them were pregnant. None of the wives were pregnant except one who was pregnant, and she gave birth to half a human being. Nisfu insan is not fully complete, half human. But here's the deal, the icing on the cake. The Prophet ﷺ said, had Sulaiman alayhi salam said, Insha'Allah, because he didn't say. He didn't say Insha'Allah. Had he, meaning Sulaiman alayhi salam, said, Insha'Allah, Allah Azza wa Jalla would have decreed his dream to come to fruition, to come true. And all the wives would have given birth to male, meaning sons. And all of them would have strived in the path of Allah as he had wished. But remember, he didn't say Insha'Allah. So this is where we leave our tafsir tonight. We stop. But I just want to mention the importance of mentioning the name of Allah. Sometimes we have a habit. Oh, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll travel next year. And you just have your short-term plan and short-term goal and long-term goal. Nothing wrong with that. But you have to always remember that you have to put Allah first. And you have to say, Insha'Allah. You have to say, if Allah wills. Sometimes you have this weather forecast, right? Irsad Jawi. And they will say that it's going to rain, it's going to snow heavily tomorrow. And then come tomorrow, it's like, whoa, there is no snow. I said it's going to snow heavy. Or it's going to rain. But there is no rain. And one of my friends, and you all my good friends, he happens to be in Japan. His wife was pregnant. So he took her to the hospital and they did the ultrasound, stuff like that. And they told him that you're going to have a son, a baby boy. So he was so excited. So he told his wife, you know what, sweetheart, I'm going to go to US. I'm going to go get some nice clothes for the child. I'm going to go to New York City. So yes, he did. He traveled to New York. He bought a whole lot of stuff, with the full of suitcase. And they traveled back to Japan. Long story short, she gave birth, mashallah, beautiful girl. Beautiful baby girl. It's like, oh, what about the ultrasound and all this stuff? So I'm just saying this to say that, وَمَا أُوتِيتُ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. Despite all the knowledge that you have, it's part of the qalil. The experiment that we have and the technology, the knowledge that we have every day and so forth, all of it is still illa qalila. And we will not go out from the da'irat al-qalil, no matter how much humanity have knowledge. وَمَا أُوتِيتُ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. So in a nutshell, whenever you say anything, you say Insha'Allah. I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to put us on the right path and to instill our Iman in our hearts and to show us the right way and help us to follow it. قلت ما سمعتم واستغفر الله العلي العظيم لي ولكم سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. We continue the tafsir inshallah Surah Al-Kahf next week Wednesday. Tomorrow we have Aqidah class same time 6:30 to 7:30. Assalamu alaikum.